So after Godzilla vs. Kong, we were all making tons of assumptions for who or what the next enemy in the MonsterVerse would be. And then this brand new teaser trailer drops and we get to see what could be the main new threat in the upcoming Godzilla and Kong the New Empire movie, Orangutan. Now for me personally, I really like what I've seen from this creature so far. But the internet, well, is reacting like this.
Another Kong? That's nonsense. That's very clearly Space Godzilla in disguise.
Have you been drinking again, Al? That's very clearly a monkey.
Yes, obviously, but Space Godzilla's a devious monster and probably disguised himself as Kong or something.
That makes no sense.
I think it's King Caesar.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, there's no way that's Caesar. That's definitely a Kong.
It's Megalon.
Who said you could speak?
Shut up,
Get
Clayton.
back to your basement and don't come out
What the
until
hell
we
are you
say
doing
so.
out of the basement
You
anyway?
don't talk when they're spoken
Back to the
to.
basement.
I'm sorry about that, Joe. That was really out of order for him.
Yeah, that was super rude, Clayton.
It's still Space Godzilla, though. Jacob?
So why are fans freaking out over this new Titan? Well, I have a few ideas. Let's get to it. There are always going to be people who just have different opinions and preferences. That's fine. But the reason why this is the most heated debate going on regarding the new trailer right now has to be because more than just personal preference. And it all starts right here, actually. You know, the internet.
Going surfing on the internet.
All of us, myself included, were hard set on this flying Goji representation that just came from some deleted concept art that didn't even make it into the final film. For some reason, we were all convinced this must be the next foe. Remember when we all thought that the cave painting from the Call of Duty crossover was going to be the new monster as well? That's how desperate fans and creators have been when it came to trying to glue the pieces of the future MonsterVerse together. But regardless, there are some people who are just never going to be completely sold on newly created monsters, and that's because, well, they love, and I mean love, the classic ones. Space Godzilla, Destroya, Biollante, the list goes on and on. These kaiju will forever hold a part in the minds of so many who watched the classic movies growing up. Now, I hate when people use nostalgia as an excuse for why people don't like new things. And I don't think that's fully the reasoning behind wanting a monster like Space Godzilla to show up in the MonsterVerse. Let's be real, Space Godzilla and Destroya are badass monsters. Some of my personal favorites in the entire series, and it'd be a true treat to see them in a modern massive blockbuster, regardless if you may or may not have nostalgia goggles. I mean, look at this. Just because they weren't shown in the 30-second teaser doesn't mean they won't eventually show up in the MonsterVerse. For all we know, this guy is simply the first boss in what could be an Elden Ring-like scenario of challenges and threats that await Kong and Godzilla. Don't forget that the one and only time that Destroya made an appearance in the Godzilla franchise was when Godzilla died. Now, another big thing I've seen coming up all over the internet is that how can this new Kong challenge Godzilla at this point? So to figure this out, we have to diagnose the problem. Why does the monkey not sit right with some people? It appears like the main reasoning for this is that it's just another ape, and some people just don't seem to like Kong or the Kongs, especially compared to the classic Toho monsters. I guess they just think that the Kongs aren't part of the cool kid squad. There was plenty of anti-Kong rhetoric during the Godzilla vs. Kong days, I'm sure you remember that. Bruh. And clearly that ape hate is still around. Personally, I think it's a bit silly to get that bent out of shape over these fictional movie stars being a species of animal that you may or may not appreciate. I get it though, apes aren't as cool as big atomic reptiles, there's no denying that. Trust me, I totally understand the Godzilla can't lose to this guy mindset. Speaking of the big guy, there are people who can't stand even the concept of him being defeated. And now that everyone is rumoring that this new Titan is the leader of the colossal world-ending threat, even though he still may not be, just the sheer thought that this lanky golem-looking dude over here is going to be more powerful than Godzilla is setting tons of those fans off yet again. How can this new ape possibly provide a greater challenge than what he has faced so far in the MonsterVerse? But alas, we got Ape Guy here. While this creature may not be as physically imposing as Ghidorah, for example, his no doubt heightened, nearly human-like range of emotions and intelligence will make him possibly the most tactical and skilled leader and fighter yet. Kong was pretty much an average Joe in the world of Titans in the Monsterverse, and he still kinda gave Godzilla a run for his money, so Kong, being an elder Titan possibly, with way more knowledge about how to fight Titans like Godzilla, could allow this monster to truly be a threat to the big G-Man. So we've diagnosed the reason why these posts about this Kong guy not being cool enough and how it should be Space Godzilla or Destroya are due to the fans wanting their classic OP challengers to show up because they are fondly connected to these characters. We've discussed how the Kongs aren't as sexy and alluring as many of these classic Toho monsters when it comes down to entertaining the kaiju fans. And lastly, we all let random concept art and 3 sentences of lore from the Godzilla vs. Kong book dictate what we thought could end up being the big threat in this new movie. Honestly, it's just way too soon for us to say this Titan will or won't be a good villain. But if you open up your minds and forget that classic monsters like Space Godzilla exist, then you may be able to not get as worked up over this little teaser trailer. And maybe everyone, just maybe, we can go more than 10 minutes without seeing someone saying that this is a Toho monster in disguise. Yeah, probably not. So thank you all for listening to me today in this more community-based video. As annoying as it can be, I'm sure for some of you to keep seeing people be like, hey, why isn't this Destroya? At the end of the day, it's just nice to see people talking about these monsters again and the Monsterverse. There for a while, no one was talking about it, and then all of a sudden we're all just going nuts trying to theorize who or what this guy is, and I think that's very cool, and I can't wait to, keep nerding out over this stuff with you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, like it, share it around. Big thanks to Joe from Goji Center and Clayton for giving us their quick little cameos in the beginning skit there. And if you haven't already, go check out the BeastHub Podcast. Myself, Alistair, and Joe from Goji Center recorded a really fun and exciting conversation about our thoughts how this new Kong could be really a fantastic villain in the Monsterverse. So if you're kind of curious about that, go check it out. And if it's not out by the time this video's out, go subscribe and you'll be ready for it when it is done. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.